It's February 25th, 2015. Steve's got to clear his throat while I'm doing the fucking intro. And this is your Fortean Slip news. You fucking asshole.
It's been a long day, Chris. For our loyal listeners, we have an update, and this was posted in our Fortean Slip group on Facebook, and I apologize because I can't remember who posted it.
I can look real quick. Hold on. We'll give due credit where credit is due here, Steve.
Right.
Let's not belittle.
There's only like 40 members.
Yeah, no shit. It was Gary Shaw.
Gary Shaw. The man who had sex with the post office box was found dead behind a Chinese restaurant, and we had done that story a while back where this guy allegedly.
That's what happens. You fuck with the
Yes.
You fuck with the post office. The Chinese triad gets after your ass.
A man who shocked the nation after trying. Oh, this is by metro.co.uk, by the way. A man who shocked the nation.
A man who shocked the nation with his photograph of himself.
After trying to have sex with a postbox has been found dead. The body of Paul Bennett, 45, from Worsley, Greater Manchester, was discovered behind a Chinese restaurant in the early hours of Sunday morning. Greater Manchester police are not treating his death as suspicious. Well, why the fuck not? But they believe that it may have been drug-related. No way. Last month, Wigan Magistrates Court heard how Bennett had been spotted rubbing himself against the post box with his trousers down before raising his arms in a star position, shouting, "Wow!"
Ooga booga!
Never gets old. He pleaded guilty to 2 charges of indecent exposure as well as using threatening and abusive words and abusive behavior. Bennett received a 12-month community order.
You take that, you post box. You dirty bitch.
With a compulsory alcohol treatment and supervision program. He was also ordered to sign the sex offenders register and pay £260 in victim compensation to the post box, apparently. Paying tribute, an acquaintance of Mr. Bennett said,
"You've had other people's hands inside you."
An acquaintance of Mr. Bennett said, "He had his troubles, but he wasn't a bad lad." We apologize to the Bennett family for laughing at this guy. I can't help it. And the real news now. From the WashingtonPost.com. After 8 centuries, rats are exonerated in the spread of the Black Death.
What?
Gerbils are implicated. This is from the Washington Post, so you know it's a real story. After nearly 8 centuries of...
Steve?
Yes.
This is a job.
Yes.
For Richard Gere.
Okay.
Richard Gere saved the world, Steve! He stopped the fucking plague!
I didn't watch that movie.
You, what? Seriously. No, seriously. Why do I fucking do a show with you? Why? Why do I do a show with you?
Is that Braveheart? Was that from Braveheart? I have no idea. After nearly 8 centuries of accusing the black rat for spreading the bubonic plague, scientists say they have compelling evidence to exonerate the much-maligned rodent. In the process, they've identified a new culprit, gerbils. According to a study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences, climate data dating back to the 14th century contradicts the commonly held notion that European plague outbreaks were caused by a reservoir of disease-carrying fleas hosted by the continent's rat population. For this, you would need warm summers.
Yes, I can save you all. I have to put this tube up my ass.
For this, you would need warm summers with not too much precipitation. Nils Christian Stenseth, an author of the study, told the BBC. And we have looked at the broad spectrum of climate indices, that's a cool word, and there is no relationship between the appearance of plague and the weather. Instead, the fearsome Black Death, as the epidemic was known, seemed curiously tied to the climate in Asia. Analysis of 15 tree ring records, which document early weather conditions, shows that Europe always experienced plague outbreaks after Central Asia had a wet spring, followed by a warm summer. Terrible conditions for black rats, but ideal for Asia's gerbil population. Those sneaky rodents and their bacteria-ridden fleas then hitched a ride to Europe via the Silk Road, arriving on the continent a few years later to wreak
and later died on the Hershey Highway.
The findings absolve Europe's black rats of responsibility for the deaths of more than 100 million people in the second plague pandemic, which began with Black Death in the mid-14th century and recurred until the 1800s. They also explain why the disease popped up intermittently century after century rather than lingering on the continent as long as rats were around to carry it. This isn't the first time scientists have challenged a popular understanding of the disease. Last year, researchers examining plague DNA found in 25 14th century skeletons said they found evidence that the disease was airborne rather than distributed via flea bites.
They found evidence of a gerbil in someone's asshole.
You know, I was wondering when you were going to make that connection.
The fuck? And you didn't get the fucking Richard Gere joke?
I know about... Never mind. I'm not even going to go there. We got more holes in Siberia, Chris.
Oh, do we?
From news.discovery.com. Dozens of mysterious new craters found in Siberia. More sinkholes have been spotted by satellite in Siberia, prompting calls for urgent research to confirm what's caused them. One of the large craters, referred to as B2, is surrounded by 20 smaller craters.
You sunk my battleship, Steve.
Reported the Siberian Times. I would compare this with mushrooms. When you find one mushroom, be sure there are a few more.
You can get high off them.
Professor Bogoyavlensky, a deputy director of the Moscow-based Oil and Gas Research Institute, told the Siberian Times. I suppose there could be 20 to 30 craters more. Researchers say the craters are likely formed after a gas explosion, but no one has seen what's caused them, only the result. The crater researchers call B2 is located near one of Russia's largest gas fields. Last summer, scientists speculated that the craters formed after permafrost melted, collecting under the surface, followed by an explosion of methane gas. Some researchers expressed concern that climate change will make formation of the permafrost sinkholes more common. Years of experience has shown that gas emissions
You fucking child.
Can cause serious damage to drilling rigs, oil and gas fields, and offshore pipelines. We cannot rule out the new gas emissions in the Arctic, and in some cases, they can ignite. And there was one more story that I had. It was about Mars, and somehow it mysteriously disappeared.
What the fuck?
Remember the one I was supposed to shorten?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I shortened it.
Oh, seriously?
Hold on, here it is. Okay. After it loads. It's from BuzzFeed.com. Mars missions are a scam. Despite claims by NASA and private outfits such as Mars One, we don't have the know-how or funding to send people to the red planet, according to many scientists, policy experts, and one outspoken lawmaker. To say we have put the cart before the horse is an understatement, Representative Dana Rohrabacher said. Last week, the nonprofit reality television project Mars One announced its selection of 100 volunteers who may get one-way tickets to Mars.
I want to go to Mars, Steve. Let's go to Mars.
Now?
Me and you. Let's go. Fuck these people that say we can't go.
You're going to die there.
I'm going to die here.
It's only... You're right. You're right. It's only the latest in decades of celebrated Mars colonization projects, and just like all the rest, this one is unlikely to ever happen, experts say. It looks like a scam, John Logston, a space policy expert at George Washington University in Washington, D.C., told Buzz News. It's a pyramid scheme. They don't have any technology. Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mysteriously, the other night, someone went into his used car lot and took all the tires off a vehicle.
What an ass.
Yeah, oh, yeah. The person who did it that they caught, yes, absolutely an ass. However, I'm partial to the idea that the person who it happened to deserved it.
Okay. It's all good. They don't have any technology. They don't have any agreements with space industry. It looks very shaky. The bigger problem, Mars One's flaws. Too few spaceships. Non-existent life support technologies. Not nearly enough money. And really, no good reason for going.
And they can't,
discredit all
Steve,
Mars
they can't get enough people underneath them and then get enough people underneath them.
Right.
to get everything going.
Although these hurdles are obvious to everyone in the space industry, politicians have spent decades trumpeting Mars plans, only to cut and run when presented with the bill for their interplanetary adventures. In Congress, the House Science Committee sent a bill to the Senate this month to make clear that Mars should be NASA's primary goal. According to a committee statement, and in his State of the Union speech last month, President Obama invoked a re-energized space program that will send American astronauts to Mars.
I think we should go on a magic carpet ride, Steve. Me and you.
I'm ready.
Really?
Yeah, sure.
You down?
Why not?
Fucking right, man. I'll fucking pick up some fucking psychedelics. I'll drive down.
Whoa.
I'll drive down to where you are at.
You said a magic carpet ride. You didn't say
Yeah,
anything about
fucking
Mars.
right. We're gonna go on a magic carpet ride. We don't need to go to Mars. We fucking take off right here, my man.
Yeah, I was hoping it was an actual magic carpet.
No. Figuratively, Steve. Metaphorically.
I see now. Okay.
Good tunes.
But all of that is
great drugs. Tell Marcia it'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that she would be 100% behind me doing that. It would be great. But
I'll
all
be
of that
there
is
with you,
mostly
man.
theater.
It's all right. I can talk you through it.
Political scientist Alan Steinberg of Sam Houston State University in Huntsville, Texas, told BuzzFeed News. And I'm going to read one more paragraph and then I'm done with this story. NASA's budget adjusted for inflation has steadily shrunk for decades. And that's because the public and voters don't want Martian cities more than they want stuff on Earth, such as Social Security checks or a Defense Department.
Is that the
and
news?
That's the news. Sure.
Wow. That was incredible.
You know, I didn't really mean to pick on the guy that had sex with the mailbox and then died behind a Chinese theater.
You did too, you lying sack of shit.
I couldn't help it. I guess he doesn't have to, finish his sentence.